Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show. Yes, indeed, we're here for another video. This one is about the halfbacks, baby. Who was the best halfback in 2023? I think you can pretty much name the top three, but after that you might be going a little bit, hey. Some of these should be a little bit higher on the list, but anyway, let's get to it. The halfbacks of 2023. Well, I just looked at my list and I am booting Matt Burton out of number 10 spot because I don't think he deserves to be there because I left the halfback out of this list. So out the door goes Matt Burton. He is booted out. But to be honest, he probably had a disappointing season from his standards. But let's go number 10 with Sam Walker. Yes, Sam Walker. Unfortunately for him, he should have played all season for my opinion, but he really did bounce back the last end of the season and he deserves to be in this top 10. But yes, a lot of work to improve for Sam Walker so he can be the next superstar of the game. Let's go to number 9 on this list of players here. And Jerome Hughes is my number 9. Yep, Jerome Hughes. Consistent season without being outstanding. Let's just be honest, Jerome Hughes was probably below his best, but had a few injury concerns this season, which is curtailed his season a little bit, even though they still made the preliminary final. He just had a few niggling injuries that was not good for the Melbourne Storm fans. Number 8 on this list, this is the guy I left out of the list, but I've just put him in because clearly he deserves to be in the top 10 halfbacks of the season here, is Jackson Hastings from the Newcastle Knights. Very, very good season. He was very good in what the Knights needed. Big loss for the West Tigers. They could have done with him. But obviously the issues with John Bateman, that's why Jackson Hastings was out the door. But he had a very good season in the Knights. Unfortunately, he got injured at the end of the season, which sort of curtailed their chances of maybe making a preliminary final. But that's just the rugby league. But he definitely deserves to be in the top 10 this season. Number 7, Ben Hunt. Yes, for all the conjecture of everything, he still played very good football this season and very good in Origin. He is still one of the gun halfbacks in the competition. Not in the top 5 anymore, in my opinion. He was there, very consistent, but now he's starting to drop away a little bit. And whether he can lead Dragons to the promised land, I don't think so. They need some help. But definitely still a solid player. Ben Hunt had a good season. Number 6, Mitchell Moses sort of wind back the clock a bit this season. It was very good, getting that Origin jersey for Nathan. For Nathan Cleary, who was out for the rest of the Origin, but he didn't really set the world on fire in those games. But he had a very good season. Obviously, he had a little bit of issues at the start of the season with his contract saga, but once that was all done and dusted, he really just went to another level. But it wasn't enough to make the grand final, so at the end of the day, it was a disappointing season for Mitchell Moses and the Eels. Number 5 on my list is DCE from the Manly Seagulls. To me, I don't think he was the best player for Manly in the season. I'm not 100% sure why he got best player, but anyway, that's the way he was. He was solid this season, but similar to Ben Hunt, you're getting paid the big dollars, you can't get them to the finals. Not good enough. And that's what I think of DCE, not good enough to get them to the finals. So that's my big concern with DCE. But for Queensland, he was solid. He was okay for Manly, but he still, at his age, could get to another level. And he's running out of time to win another premiership. Number 4 on this list, Nicho Hynes. For all the stuff happening around Origin and after Origin, when he had a flat spot for a little while, his start of the season was absolutely outstanding. And then at the end of the season, it was pretty good until the finals. Obviously, going to the finals, that next level is what Nicho Hynes needs to improve on to go to that next level to really be the best thing. But he's good for the game, off the field, mental health and all that. But it's just something, he's just very good player, Nicho Hynes. But when the pressure is on, he seems to struggle a little bit. He's very good when they're on the front foot. He looks brilliant. But on the back foot, that's where his level needs to go, Nicho Hynes. And when you've got 12 men and you're the halfback, and you don't win the game against the Roosters, then obviously there's some work to do for you, Nicho Hynes. But still a great season. Number 3, yes, former Bunny Adam Reynolds, yes, he had a great season, but he probably questions his grand final, his last 20 minutes of the grand final, or a few times we did the short kickoffs, was the real answer. Made mistakes, it led to one try, and a little bit of issues around that. In the big games, was it the right call? Maybe not, but we will never know. When you're up by that much, you should control the game. But when the momentum swung, that was it. Nathan Cleary show after that. But he still had a solid, great season. But he's running out of time to win another premiership. That was his golden opportunity, and they let it slip. Simple as that. And that's why he's not number 1 on the list for 2023. Number 2 on this list, lucky not to be number 1, but clearly I couldn't put him at number 1 after the grand final. Number 2, Shaun Johnson. Yes, Shaun Johnson, Mr. Consistent, probably the best player all season long in terms of consistency. But at the end of the day, to turn around his clock, people said he was done and dusted. And after week 1, you probably was thinking, yes, he was done and dusted. But after that, he was off the trot and Johnson was on fire. Absolutely outstanding. They really got going after that little bit of a shaky start. Very good. Very, very good consistency. But what was most impressive was he was turning into an actual halfback this season. He showed glimpses of that of the Sharkies in one season when he done his Achilles. He was starting to control the team now. Well, then he got injured and then he came back to the Warriors. Just didn't seem settled. But he was settled in 2023 and had an outstanding season. Let's hope that continues into 2024, and the Warriors would be hoping so, to take on the team that is the best in the comp and the number 1 halfback in the game. Nathan Cleary is number 1. He may not have been the most consistent halfback all season, but his dominance the last about 6 weeks when he came back from injury was a masterclass, and he carved up the Warriors, even though he was no Shaun Johnson. He had a field day that day, and he just kept going up and up and up. And when the chips were down, they were down and out in the grand final, he turned it around with a masterclass never seen before. The 40-20, that set up the try, then score the final try to win the grand final. Absolutely well-deserved Clive Churchill medalist winner, even if it was for the last 20 minutes. If you talk about the whole game, it probably, when you got 20 minutes before there was his remains. Absolutely outstanding Nathan Cleary. Has put himself in the chance to potentially, and I think he will be, an immortal of this game. And how many more premierships can he get before he retires? Let's hope we don't put the hoodoo on him. But absolute freak of nature, Nathan Cleary. Well deserved, Mr. Consistent. He is the best halfback in the game. He's got to do it for New South Wales and Australia more, even though he won the World Cup. So you can't say he didn't. He won the World Cup, but he wasn't convincing. But he needs to do it at State of Origin level. Need to get a few wins under the belt there. If he gets that, no doubt you can tick him off as an immortal in terms of one of the best halfbacks and best players ever to play the game. But anyway, that's the Barry Charles Footy Show for another video. Hopefully you liked it with who the best halfbacks in the rugby league are. Have an awesome day out there. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel.